I have started the recording, and yeah. So there are three problems. First, okay, the first one is this one should be easy. This one is simply integral from 0 to 1 ex over square root of x equal to limit of a goes to 0 from the right of integral from a to 1 x power minus half ex, which is equal to limit a goes to 0 from the right of 2 times x power half, and we evaluate from a to 1. Then here we have limit a goes to 0 from the right, and what's inside the bracket is 2 times square root of 1 is 2 minus 2 times square root of a, which is equal to, if a is approaching 0 from the right, then we have square root of a is 0, then this is equal to 2. Yeah. For the next problem, first we have a 2 over x squared minus 1 is equal to 2 over x plus 1 times x minus 1. We factorize the denominator, and then we do the partial fraction decomposition, which lead us to this form: x plus 1 plus something over x minus 1. What should we do? Okay, I think this is 1 and sorry, minus 1 and 1. Yeah, you can try to find it later. I think this is correct because we have minus x plus x 0 and plus 1 plus 1 2. Yeah. So from here we have that the integral of 2 dx over x squared minus 1 is equal to integral of minus 1 over x plus 1 plus 1 over x minus 1 dx, which is equal to minus ln x plus 1 plus ln x minus 1 plus some constant c. So the integral from minus infinity to minus 2 of 2 dx over x squared minus 1 is equal to limit of a goes to minus infinity, integral from a to minus 2 2 dx over x squared minus 1, which is limit a goes to negative infinity minus ln x plus 1 plus ln x minus 1, and we evaluate from a to minus 2. From here we have limit a goes to minus infinity of ln x minus 1 over x plus 1. Yeah. We evaluate from a to minus 2, which is equal to limit a goes to minus infinity of, if we put minus 2, then we have ln minus 3 over minus 1. So ln 3 minus ln a minus 1 over a plus 1, which is equal to ln 3 minus ln 1, which is equal to ln 3. Yeah. That's it. Any question for this one? Is it clear?
Sir,
Ya.
tadi saya agak lost itu ln 3 tuh dari yang ln min 2 itu bukan sih?
Ya.
Oh, oke.
Any other question? No? If not, then we solve the last problem. Okay. Integral from minus infinity to 0 e power minus absolute value of x dx is equal to, okay, since we want to compute the absolute value of x on the negative side, yeah, from minus infinity to 0 is negative, then the absolute value is, okay, absolute value of x is equal to x if x is greater or equal to 0, and minus x if x is less than 0. Yeah. So in this case, we have this is equal to integral of minus infinity to 0 e power minus of minus x dx. So here is integral of minus infinity to 0 e power x dx. Which is equal to limit a goes to minus infinity integral of a to 0 e power x dx, which is equal to limit a goes to minus infinity of e power x goes from a to 0. Now this is equal to limit a goes to minus infinity of, if we put 0 is 1, and 1 minus e power a. Yeah. Since a goes to minus infinity, then this is equal to 1 minus 0, which is 1. Yeah. Any question? Ini mengapa 0? Karena E pangkat A, ya, A-nya negatif tak hingga, itu berarti kan 1 per E pangkat tak hingga, ya. Jadi ini pangkat E pangkat negatif tak hingga adalah 0. Ada pertanyaan? Ya.
Sir,
Ya.
kalau misalnya positif tak hingga itu apakah si akan jadi 1 atau bakal bisa lebih?
Kalau ini positif tak hingga, itu dia jadi tak hingga, jadi negatif 1 min tak hingga kan ya.
Iya, sir.
Ya, berarti jadinya negatif tak hingga.
Oke, siap. Thank you, sir.
Ya. Oke. So we have finished with this part. Now let's go to the next material. For this afternoon session, we will learn about sequence and series. Ya. Jadi di sesi sore ini kita akan mempelajari tentang barisan dan deret. Ya. I assume that you have learned about these guys in your high school. I think. Have you learned about sequence and series in your high school? Barisan dan deret.
Yes, already, sir.
Ya.
Yes, sir.
So now we are learning something a little bit more advanced about sequence and series. So let's recall what is a sequence. Yeah. If we look at the following list of numbers, first we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and so on. And then the second list, we have 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and so on and so forth. And then on the third list, we have 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, and so on. Yeah. So from this list of numbers, can you guess what is a sequence actually? What is a sequence?
Ini tiganya maksudnya one sequencer.
Enggak, ini beda-beda.
Oh, yeah, the first one itu apa ya, deret apa namanya, aritmatika, sir, itu plus 2.
Barisan ya.
Ya, barisan aritmatika plus 2 dari different-nya. Kalau yang kedua itu geometri, jadi itu pangkat 2. Kalau yang ketiga itu ini hasil analisa saya, sir. Apa sih namanya? U3 itu U1 tambah U2. Jadi yang mau kita cari ditambah dengan 2 yang di belakangnya, sir.
Ya. Fibonacci.
Fibonacci itu dia.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so what is a sequence? Yeah. Well, Jason said that the first lines of the first list of numbers is called arithmetic sequence, and the second list is geometric sequence, and then the third list is Fibonacci. Yeah, and you see at the bottom list we have U1, U2, U3, and so on. Yeah. So basically, what is a sequence? Sequence is basically a list of numbers in a given order. Yeah. The sequence is basically a list of numbers, but it must have order. Jadi barisan itu pada dasarnya daftar bilangan, ya. Kita hanya mendaftar bilangan. Biasanya cara penulisannya dipisahkan dengan koma, tetapi ada urutannya. Ya. Ada urutannya. kalau kalian kenal di SMA, urutannya dikenal dengan suku ke berapa, gitu ya. Betul nggak? Suku pertama, suku kedua, suku ketiga, dan seterusnya. Ya.
Yes.
So, sequence in general has a pattern, or a formula, especially for infinite sequence. Jadi pada dasarnya barisan itu ada polanya, ada rumusnya, bahasa mudahnya gitu. Terutama barisan-barisan yang tak berhingga. Maksudnya apa barisan tak berhingga? Itu barisan yang kita bisa ya kalau kita mau kita bisa mungkin dari lahir sampai kita meninggal itu kita bisa kerjaan kita setiap hari nulis barisan aja sampai seterusnya gitu ya. Nanti kita meninggal itu ada yang meneruskan lagi, tidak pernah selesai. Gitu. That is called infinite sequence, ya, barisan tak hingga. And usually an infinite sequence is written in this way. Ya. Yeah. Usually we write a sequence in this way. There are 3 ways that we can use. Yeah. First, we sorry, I forgot to change the. So how to write a sequence? Yeah, there are basically 3 ways to write a sequence. First, we write the formula. That's enough usually. Ya. Jadi, cara pertama untuk menuliskan sebuah barisan itu dengan cara menuliskan rumusnya. Biasanya itu sudah cukup seperti ini. Misalkan barisan, for example, sequence AN equals to 2N, ya, misalkan barisan AN sama dengan 2N, or the sequence Bn equals to 2 power n minus 1, and so on. Or we can also write the sequence by listing the numbers, like this, dengan cara mendaftarkan bilangannya. Or we can write the rules. Writing the rules basically is same as writing the formula, and then we combine like this. We compactify the writing, the form. Yeah. So when we want to list the numbers, we can use this 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then for each terms, the value is 2n, so on. Yeah. Or we can make it more compact by writing the rules, like an is 2n, where n goes from 1 to infinity, and so on. These are 3 ways to write a sequence. And what we are talking about today is mostly about convergence. Yeah. What is a convergent series? What is a divergent series, and so on? First, let's take a look at this set Bn, this sequence Bn. The sequence Bn goes from 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and so on with the rules 2 power n minus 1. And if we go n, if n goes to infinity, the value of Bn will tend to infinity. Then we say in this case that the sequence is the sequence diverges. But if we take a look at this next sequence Cn, 0, half, 2/3, 3/4, 4/5, and so on, which is written by this rule, n minus 1 over n, we see that somehow if n goes to infinity, the number will go to 1. So in this case, we can say that the sequence converges to a number that is 1. And there is another example that says that the sequence diverges if we have this kind of sequence, 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1, and so on. In this case, we say that this sequence also diverges. Why? Because we don't know that whether the sequence will go to a certain number, because the sequence always go from 1 and then minus 1 and then 1 again and then minus 1 and so on. So basically, what is the definition of a convergence of a sequence? So basically, the sequence converts to a number L if this, So if we cannot find a certain number L, basically we say that the sequence diverges. So we can see here Cn at some point when n goes to infinity, the number will go towards towards 1, but for the rest they are not going to any numbers. So basically we only say here Cn converges. Any question for this one? Ya, di sini apa itu konvergen? Ya, konvergen itu sama seperti ketika kita membahas integral improper tadi ya. Konvergen itu kalau limit di sini ya, ketika limit menuju tak hingganya itu menuju suatu bilangan tertentu. Tapi kalau limit menuju tak hingganya itu kita tidak bisa menebak dia akan menuju bilangan berapa, atau bahkan dia menuju tak hingga atau negatif tak hingga, maka dia divergen. Any question? Is it clear enough? I hope.
Clear, sir. Excellent.
Clear, sir. Aman, masih aman.
Now, for a divergent series, divergent sequence, we have two different kind of divergence. Yeah? Sometimes we don't know. We just simply don't know to which number it belongs to, or it tends towards. And in some other time, we absolutely sure that the series will go to positive infinity or negative infinity. So now we define, we distinguish between whether the series diverges to infinity or not. Yeah. So basically, this definition is mathematical definition. It's almost formal definition. But basically diverges to infinity if we take the limit of the rules, the limit of the formula when n goes to infinity, the value either goes to the limit either goes to positive infinity or negative infinity. So we say in that case that the sequence goes to diverges to infinity. And I have already mentioned multiple times that convergence is related to limit. So we have a theorem basically limit of sequence. This theorem says that, okay, if we have two sequence of real numbers, and we know that the limit, okay, we know that both sequence, yeah, we know that both sequence converts to some values. Yeah, let's say the sequence UN converts to capital U, and the sequence VN goes to capital V. Then the following rules hold. Yeah. So basically, this theorem says that as long as we know that both sequence converge, then the combinations also converge. And we also have the sandwich theorem for sequence, which we used before when we tried to, we already have sandwich theorem, I think, when we tried to compute limit. And also when we try to check convergence. And in the sequence, we also have sandwich theorem. Let's say we have UN, VN, and WN. They are sequence of real numbers, and we assume that UN is always less than or equal to VN, and VN is always less than or equal to WN for all n beyond some index n. And if we have that the limit of UN and WN as n goes to infinity is L, then we know for sure that the limit of Vn as n goes to infinity is also L. That's why this is called the sandwich theorem. Jadi teorema sandwich ini mengatakan bahwa kalau kita punya barisan UN, Vn, dan Wn, di mana UN selalu lebih kecil sama dengan Vn dan Vn selalu lebih kecil sama dengan Wn, maka maksudnya ini harus dipenuhi pertidaksamaannya untuk semua n setelah indeks tertentu, ya, tidak harus dari indeks pertama. Misalkan setelah indeks 10 dan seterusnya itu selalu terjadi seperti ini, maka kita bisa menyimpulkan bahwa selama kita tahu konvergensinya dari UN dan WN, yaitu L, maka kita tahu pasti bahwa karena Vn ini dihimpit oleh UN dan Wn, kita tahu bahwa Vn juga pasti akan konvergen ke bilangan L. And the next theorem is a continuous function theorem for sequence. So this theorem says that if UN is a sequence of real numbers, and if UN converts to a number L, and if f is a function that is continuous, then the function f of UN converts to f of L. Well, this is not that important for now. We will talk about it. Maybe we will see it in the example later. And the next theorem is L'Hopital's rule. It's a little bit different L'Hopital's rule, but this L'Hopital's rule is for sequence. So if we have f a function that is defined for all x, and we know that the the sequence UN is a sequence of real numbers such that UN is equal to f of n for n greater than or equal to n0, then we know that the function f of x, if the function f of x, the limit as x goes to infinity is L, then the limit of UN as n goes to infinity is also also L. I think that is quite obvious. And we also have this list of commonly occurring limits, ya. Di sini kita punya daftar limit-limit yang sering muncul di kalkulus, ya. Ini limit-limit yang sering muncul, kalian tidak perlu hafal, yang penting kalian tahu bahwa limit ini ada di slide ini, gitu ya. Nanti kalau kuis atau UAS kalian tinggal buka ini saja. And then, okay, now we have different way to define sequence. So we have 3 ways to write a sequence before. Now we want to learn about another way to define sequence. Yeah. In this case, we look at this list of numbers again. The first, we know that this is arithmetic sequence, and the second one is I think, oops. Can anyone know what kind of sequence is this? Oh, no. This is a factorial, yeah, 1 factorial, 2 factorials, 3 factorials, and so on. And then the third one is Fibonacci. Yeah. This Fibonacci sequence is not easy to define. Yeah. So, and you should remember that in the beginning of this slides, Jason said that this sequence is defined by summing the last two, the preceding two numbers. Yeah? So 1 is 0 plus 1, 2 is 1 plus 1, 3 is 1 plus 2, 5 is 2 plus 3, and so on. And here, from this part, we will learn about how to write, how to define this kind of sequence. We call it a recursive sequence. Sometimes we define, or often we define a sequence recursively by giving first the value or values of the initial terms, and then we write the rule that we call it a recursion formula. Ya. Jadi kita bisa mendefinisikan barisan secara rekursif ya, dengan cara pertama kita mendefinisikan secara rekursif seperti ini. Kita menuliskan, kalau contohnya Fibonacci ini, kita menuliskan 2 aturan yang pertama. Kita menuliskan 2 yang pertama, kemudian kita tuliskan rumus untuk suku ketiga dan seterusnya. Ya. Jadi suku pertama kita tuliskan 0, suku kedua 1, suku ketiga dan seterusnya kita tulis suku sebelumnya ditambah suku sebelumnya lagi. Let's take a look at the first arithmetic sequence. In this case, we can write only the first term, and then we have that the next term is always the previous term plus 2. Kalau barisan aritmatika seperti ini, kita bisa dengan menuliskan yang pertama, kemudian baris selanjutnya adalah baris sebelumnya, anggota baris sebelumnya, ya, atau bilangan sebelumnya ditambahkan 2 dan seterusnya. Or if we take a look at this factorial sequence, we know that the current term is the previous term multiplied by the order. Ya. Kalau yang faktorial ini, ya, kita tahu bahwa kalau kita tuliskan yang pertama 1, ya, maka yang selanjutnya adalah yang sebelumnya dikalikan dengan dia suku keberapa, gitu ya, urutan keberapa. Jadi 2 ini adalah 1 dikali, karena dia urutan 2, berarti 1 kali 2. Kemudian 6 ini adalah 2 kali urutannya dia, urutan ketiga. Ya. Berarti 2 kali 3, 6. 24 adalah sebelumnya, 6 dikalikan urutan ke dia sekarang, ya, urutan keempat, yaitu 6 kali 4, 24, dan seterusnya. Ya. So, any question before I continue the material?
I think no, sir.
No. Then now we are learning new terms that is called bounded monotonic sequence. first we say a sequence is bounded from above. A sequence is bounded from above if we can find a number m such that the sequence is always less than or equal to that number for all n. Then here we say that m is an upper bound. Likewise, if we not yet. Okay, so in this case, yeah, if we know that m is an upper bound, but we cannot find any number less than m that can be the upper bound for the sequence, then m is called the least upper bound. Jadi terbatas dari atas ini artinya apa? Kalau kita punya barisan di mana bilangan dalam barisan tersebut itu tidak pernah melebihi sebuah bilangan m, maka kita katakan bahwa barisan tersebut terbatas dari atas, di mana m ini adalah batas atasnya. Tapi batas atasnya apakah cuma satu? Bisa banyak. Makanya di sini kalau m adalah salah satu batas atasnya, tapi tidak ada yang lebih kecil dari m, yang bisa jadi batas atas dari barisan tersebut, maka kita katakan m adalah batas atas terkecil. Likewise, bounded from below if we can find a number small m such that the element of such that the sequence is always greater or equal to that small m for all n. And in this case, m is the lower bound for the sequence, and the small m is the greatest lower bound if that is a lower bound, but no number greater than m that can be the lower bound for the sequence. So basically, what is a bounded sequence? Bounded sequence is if the sequence is bounded from above and below, then the sequence is called bounded. Jadi barisan itu dikatakan berbatas kalau dia dibatasi dari bawah dan dari atas. If f is not bounded, then we say that if the sequence is not bounded, then we say that un is unbounded. And what about monotonic sequence? Monotonic sequence, it says that the sequence is non-decreasing if we have this kind of rules. Dia non-decreasing, ya, tidak turun. Tidak turun itu kalau apa? Suku setelahnya itu selalu lebih besar atau sama dengan suku sebelumnya. And the sequence is non-increasing if the other way around. And we say that the sequence is monotonic if it is either non-decreasing or non-increasing. Jadi tidak naik, ya, barisan itu kita katakan tidak naik, tidak turun kalau suku selanjutnya itu selalu lebih besar atau sama dengan suku sekarang. Kemudian kita katakan tidak naik kalau suku selanjutnya selalu lebih kecil atau sama dengan suku yang sekarang. Dan kita katakan barisan tersebut monoton kalau dia antara dia barisan yang tidak naik atau dia tidak turun, ya, salah satu saja. And the consequence of a monotonic sequence is that if we know that the sequence is both monotonic and bounded, then the sequence converge. Well, this is just for your information. Let's try to investigate the convergence of some sequences. Wait a moment. So let's try to investigate this convergence. So the first one, for the first one, what we need to do, we simply need to find the limit n goes to infinity of un. That is limit n goes to infinity of minus 1 over n, minus 1 over n, which in this case, this is 0. Yeah. For the next one, we simply need to, again, compute the limit. Limit n goes to infinity of un, which is equal to limit n goes to infinity of n minus 1 over n, which is equal to limit n goes to infinity of 1 minus 1 over n, which is equal to 1. And for the third one, we have limit n goes to infinity of 5 over n squared. This is again 0. And for the fourth one, we have limit n goes to infinity of 4 minus 7n power 6 divided by n power 6 plus 3, which is minus 7. Yeah. So in this case, we know that all of these guys, yeah, they are converge. Jadi pada dasarnya memeriksa kekonvergenan itu tidak susah ya. Kita cek limit n menuju tak hingganya, kalau dia menuju suatu bilangan tertentu, maka kita bilang barisannya konvergen. Kalau dia menuju tak hingga atau kita nggak tahu limitnya apa, ya dia apa namanya tidak konvergen atau divergen. Now, for the next one, we need to show that limit ln n over n is equal to 0 as n goes to infinity. So this one, basically we use the L'Hopital's theorem. So let's consider f of x is equal to ln x over x. Then, of course, in this case, if we have f of n is equal to ln n over n. Then, by L'Hopital's rule, what we need to do is we compute limit of x goes to infinity of f of x, which is limit x goes to infinity of ln x over x. And here we apply L'Hopital's rule. If you still remember, this is equal to limit x goes to infinity, because if we put infinity here, we have infinity over infinity. Then we can use L'Hopital's rule. We differentiate the numerator and also the denominator. We have 1 over x here divided by 1. In this case, we have that the limit is 0. So, as f of x goes to 0, then ln n over n also goes to 0. That's it. Yeah. Any question? Ada pertanyaan?
I think no, sir.
Oke.
Oke, soal susahnya mulai muncul.
Tulisan ini.
Enggak, sir. Maksudnya soal berikutnya, sir, mulai menantang.
Okay. Now, this is for this one. We have this. We actually have this table. So, kita punya tabel ini ya, kita punya daftar ini, kita tinggal pakai saja. Ya. We just need to use that. So for number 1, we just need to find limit of n goes to infinity of ln n squared over n, which is equal to limit n goes to infinity of 2 ln n over n, which is equal to 2 times 0, which is equal to 0. That's it for number 1. Number 2, we see here square root of n, nth root of n squared is actually n power 2 over n, which is equal to n power 1 over n squared. And if we take a look at this table, limit of n goes to infinity of square root of n, nth root of n is 1. So basically, we just need to follow that. So this is basically 1 squared, which is equal to 1. And then for the third one, we have nth root of 3n. This is equal to 3 power 1 over n multiplied by n power 1 over n, which is as n goes to infinity. Again, this is n goes to infinity. We have 3 power 0, which is 1, and then multiplied by n 1 over n, which is also 1. This is equal to 1. For number 4, minus half power n. This is from the formula before. This as n goes to infinity, we know that this is going to 0. Again, we simply need to take a look at this formula. The fourth formula we see here, limit n goes to infinity of x power n is always 0 if absolute value of x is less than 1. So we just need to use that. And for the fifth one, we also use the formula n minus 2 over n power n as, well, this is equal to 1 minus 2 over n power n. And in this case, we follow the formula again. This is going to, as n goes to infinity, this is going to e power minus 2. And for the sixth one, we have 100 over n divided by n factorial. Well, this is going to 0. Well, this is from the, all are from the previous formula, ya. Jadi semuanya dari rumus yang kita punya tadi. Makanya saya bilang kalian tidak perlu menghafal, yang penting kalian tahu rumusnya ada di mana, gitu ya. Any question?
Sir, untuk beberapa soal ini kan rata-rata n mendekati infinite ya, Sir.
Ya.
Kalau n mendekati infinite itu dia jadi 0 atau gimana, Sir?
Maksudnya gimana?
Kan contoh nomor 4 ya, Sir, ini. Sebenarnya garis nomor 4. Kan min 1/2 pangkat n itu ya, Sir. Habis itu n mendekati ke infinite. Terus kenapa bisa 0 gitu, Sir?
Oke. Min setengah pangkat n itu kan kita bisa tuliskan sebagai min 2 pangkat min 1 pangkat n, gini ya.
Yes, Sir.
Ini adalah min 1 pangkat n kali 2 pangkat min n, ya. Makanya atau kita bisa tuliskan sebagai di sini ini sama dengan min 1 pangkat n dibagi 2 pangkat n. Min 1 pangkat n itu kan dia hanya akan berubah dari min 1, 1, min 1, 1, dan seterusnya kan ya?
Yes, Sir.
Dan 2 pangkat n kalau n-nya terus naik, maka dia akan semakin menuju tak hingga. Maka ketika n-nya menuju tak hingga, dia akan menuju 0. Karena pembaginya semakin besar, tapi
penyebutnya
semakin besar, tapi pembilangnya cuma antara min 1 atau 1.
Oh, I see. Oke. Thank you, Sir.
Sir,
Ya?
saya agak los. Ini yang kan yang nomor 5 tuh. Kenapa enggak 0, Sir? Malah jadi E.
Nah, itu kalau itu untuk sekarang ya. Untuk sekarang kamu percaya dengan saya dulu ya. Bukan syirik, enggak. Kamu percaya dengan saya dulu kalau ini benar gitu ya.
Oh, aduh ya saya lupa lihat ininya. Oh iya. Berarti langsung aja ya, Sir, nanti ya?
Iya, betul. Ya. Di sini kan tadi kita punyanya adalah 1 min 2 per n ya.
X per n.
Pangkat n. Nah, di sini kan jadinya E pangkat X. Berarti kalau gitu 1 min 2 per n itu kan berarti X-nya adalah min 2 kan ya. Berarti makanya jadi E pangkat min 2 tadi.
Oke. Thank you, Sir. Sorry for my negligence.
Ya. Okay, now exercise. Find the values of the first 4 terms of un. Okay. Well, that's easy. The second one is maybe okay. Let's just do it quickly. Yeah. The first 4 terms of un. We have that here u1 is equal to 1. u2 is equal to 1 over 2 factorials, which is half. u3 is equal to 1 over 3 factorials, which is 1 over 6, and u4 is equal to 1 over 4 factorial, which is equal to 1 over 24. Yeah, that's easy. Yeah. Any question for this one? Ada pertanyaan? Masih mudah atau gimana? Masih mudah ya?
Masih bisa, Sir.
Okay. The next. Yeah. Write out the first 10 terms of un if u1 is equal to 2 and un plus 1 is equal to minus 1 power n plus 1 un over 2. So here we have 2 and then u2 is equal to minus 1 power 2 times un times u1 over 2. Yeah. So in this case we have 1. Two, 1, then I think this next one should be minus.
Yes, sir. Minus, sir.
Half. And then is it still minus or I think still minus. Minus 1 over 4 and then plus 1 over 8 and then plus 1 over 16 then minus 1 over 32 and then minus 1 over 64. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 2 more. 1 over 128 and 1 over 256. Yeah. Yeah. Is it clear for this one? Cuman diminta untuk menuliskan 10 suku pertama ya. Kalau menuliskan 10 suku pertama nggak susah ya. Kan kita di sini sudah ada rules-nya. U2 itu then we have U3 is actually minus 1 power 3 times U2 over 2 minus 1 times 1 over 2. So this is minus half. U4 is minus 1 power 4 times U3 over 2. So this is 1 times minus half over 2. This is minus 1/4 and so on. Yeah. Ini masih mudah ya. And the next one is, okay, find the formula for the following sequence. So let me give you the answer. This is un is equals to minus 1 power n plus 1 divided by n squared. Untuk ini ya, mengapa ada min 1 pangkat n plus 1? Karena saya melihat di sini ada tandanya yaitu berganti-ganti terus ya. Plus minus plus minus plus minus. Ya. Setiap ganjil tandanya plus, setiap urutan ganjil tandanya plus, setiap urutan genap tandanya negatif. Ya. Maka kita punya min 1 pangkat. Nah, min 1 itu kalau pangkatnya genap dia positif, plus 1. Kalau pangkatnya ganjil tetap min 1. Ya. Makanya supaya kita bisa mengubah dari yang ganjil jadi genap, kita tambahkan 1 saja. Urutan pertama jadi min 1 pangkat 2 positif. Kemudian penyebutnya di situ selalu bentuk kuadrat ya. 1, 4 itu 2 kuadrat, 9 itu 3 kuadrat, 16 itu 4 kuadrat, dan seterusnya. Any question before I move on to the next slide? Any question? No?
I think no, sir.
Then let's move on to the next slide about infinite series. We have learned about sequence before, sequence which means barisan. Now we are learning about series, which means deret. Anyone remember what series is from your high school? Ada yang masih ingat apa itu deret? Deret adalah okay. Let's take a look at the following list of numbers. Yeah. The first one we have a sequence of 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, 1/16, and so on. And then the next list we have 1, 3/2, 7/4, 15/8, 31/16, and so on. From these two lists, what can we see? Okay, let's take a look at this. Yeah. The first list is a sequence UN, and the second list is also basically a sequence, but a sequence of sum of the first and n terms of UN. Tadi kita punya 3/2, ya 3/2 adalah 1 tambah setengah, kemudian 7/4, 7/4 adalah 1 tambah setengah tambah 1/4, dan seterusnya. So in this case, we know that the second list is basically sum of the first n terms of UN. And we say that the second list is a sequence that is given by this formula, that is 2 minus 1/2 power n minus 1. The second list is what we call series. Jadi deret. Ya. So what is a series? Series is basically if we have a sequence of number UN, then the series is expression of this form. Jadi kalau kita punya barisan UN, maka series atau deret itu adalah jumlahannya dari UN. So now can anyone remember, recall what you have learned during your high school? Sudah mulai ingat?
Ya, sir, agak-agak ingat. Udah terpancing gitu.
Ya. Biasanya kalau di SMA ya, barisan itu selalu pakai UN, betul nggak?
Betul, Sir.
Ya, kemudian ada deret ya. Deret biasanya pakai SN. Masih ingat?
Masih, Sir. Berarti itu sum dari apa ya? Dari semuanya itu ya, Sir. SN kan?
SN itu sum dari sebenarnya bukan semuanya ya. SN itu misalkan S1 berarti jumlahan dari satu barisan yang pertama. S2 berarti itu jumlah dari 2 barisan yang pertama. S3 berarti jumlah dari 3 yang pertama. Jadi kalau S1 adalah U1, S2 adalah U1 tambah U2, S3 adalah U1 tambah U2 tambah U3, S4 adalah U1 tambah U2 tambah U3 tambah U4 dan seterusnya. Sudah ingat sekarang?
Ya, ingat, Sir.
Ya. Yang lain?
Ingat, Sir.
Ingat,
Sir.
So similar to what we have learned in the previous slides about sequence, yeah. If n, so when n goes to infinity, we have what we call infinite series, ya. Jadi kalau sama seperti di barisan ya di slide sebelumnya, kalau n-nya menuju tak hingga, di barisan kita punya barisan tak hingga ya. Deret kita juga punya yaitu deret tak hingga. Now, what we are learning about is again convergence of convergence. Yeah, something that is a little bit more advanced than what you have learned during your high school. Yeah. What is a convergence? Well, how do we define the convergence of the series? So if we have the series Sn, then we say that Sn converges if limit of Sn as n goes to infinity is equal to a number that is not infinity. Jadi apa itu kekonvergenan dari sebuah deret ya? Sama sebenarnya ya. Konvergen kalau kita ambil limitnya ketika n menuju tak hingga, itu akan menuju suatu nilai tertentu yang bukan tidak hingga ya. Jadi bukan infinity. Tapi kalau limitnya adalah infinity, maka dia divergen gitu. Nah, similar with sequence ya. Not only if the limit goes to infinity, but if we don't know what is the value of the limit. I mean, if we know that the limit either goes to 1 or 0 or -1, and if the possibility of the value of the limit is, well, we have more than one possibility, then sometimes we say that the series is also diverging. Jadi kalau limitnya menuju tak hingga biasanya ya, atau limitnya nggak tahu menuju bilangan berapa, sama seperti tadi ya, kalau dia lompat dari 1 terus -1, 1 -1, 1 -1 kan kita nggak akan tahu limitnya jadi berapa. Maka di sini deretnya kita bilang divergen. For this series ya, in particular we will learn about the geometric series, deret geometry. This geometric series is basically a series of geometric sequence that is this form. Jadi deret geometri itu pada dasarnya adalah deret dari barisan geometri, ya, yaitu jumlahan. Okay, let's take a break for a few minutes. Okay, let's continue our class. Yeah. So, anyone here already? I mean, sorry. Have everyone back?
Di tempat saya masih azan, Sir.
Yang lain?
Sama, Sir.
Okay, let's wait for
sama.
maybe about 2 more minutes. Okay, let's continue our class now. For this infinite series, in particular, we will learn about geometric series. Jadi kita secara khusus akan membahas deret geometri, ya. Geometric series is basically a series of geometric sequence that is in this form, and as you know that geometric series we know that the geometric series is can be written in this form. Jadi kita tahu dari SMA ya, kalau deret geometri itu bisa dituliskan ke bentuk ini ya. Where R is not equal to 1, ya, di mana R-nya tidak sama dengan 1. Then in this case, for this particular case, which is geometric series, we know that the geometric series converge if the absolute value of R is less than 1, or diverge if the absolute value of R is greater or equal to 1. Jadi deret geometri, kalau kalian tahu di SMA ya, ketika R-nya kurang dari, atau nilai mutlak R-nya kurang dari 1, jadi ketika nilai mutlak rasionya itu kurang dari 1, kita tahu bahwa deret geometrinya itu akan punya nilai ya, menuju nilai tertentu. Tapi kalau nilai mutlak R-nya lebih dari 1, maka dia akan menuju tak hingga. Maka kita akan mendapatkan tak hingga per tak hingga yang kita jadi sulit untuk kita akan jadi kesulitan untuk menghitung deretnya. So, from this geometric series, we actually have this theorem. Yeah. So, if we have a sequence UN and its corresponding series Sn, then if we know that the series converge, then we know that the sequence converts to 0. Jadi pada dasarnya idenya dari sini sebenarnya. Ya. Kalau kita lihat ya, dia konvergen, deret geometri itu konvergen kalau mutlak rasionya kurang dari 1. Ya. Kalau mutlak rasionya kurang dari 1, berarti barisan geometrinya itu lama-kelamaan akan 0. Ya. Nah, di sini makanya kita punya teorema ini ya. Inspirasinya dari situ sebenarnya. Jadi kalau kita tahu bahwa barisannya konvergen, entah menuju nilai berapapun, yang pasti konvergen, maka kita bisa menjamin bahwa barisannya, ya, jadi kalau deretnya konvergen menuju nilai berapapun, kita bisa menjamin bahwa barisannya akan konvergen menuju 0. Then this theorem implies that if we have a sequence un and its corresponding series Sn, and if un converts to a number that is not equal to 0, then the series diverge. Ini biimplikasi hubungannya ya. Jadi teorema yang atas menyebabkan yang bawah juga menyebabkan yang atas pada saat yang bersamaan. Jadi di sini apa yang dikatakan teorema yang bawah adalah kalau kita punya barisannya itu konvergen ke suatu bilangan yang bukan 0, maka pasti deretnya itu divergen. Itu pasti. Kalian tidak usah tahu pembuktiannya bagaimana, sekarang kalian percaya dulu kalau ini benar. Dan what if we try to combine two convergent series? So basically, if we have two convergent series, Sn and Tn, then these three rules holds. Ya. Jadi kalau kita punya dua deret yang konvergen, maka 3 aturan ini berlaku. Those are the sum rule, difference rule, and constant multiple rule for any constant. And from here, we know that combining two convergent series will result in new convergent series. Jadi kalau kita punya 2 deret yang konvergen, ya, maka 3 aturan ini berlaku. Ya, aturan penjumlahan, pengurangan, dan aturan perkalian dengan konstan, di mana konstan K ini bisa sembarang, ya, terserah kita, atau terserah soalnya, gitu ya. Dan dari sini kita dapatkan bahwa dengan kita mengkombinasikan atau menggabungkan dengan cara penjumlahan atau pengurangan, atau kita kalikan dengan sebuah konstanta, kalau kita punya deret, ya, 2 deret, kemudian kita kombinasikan dengan salah satu dari atau gabungan dari 3 aturan ini, maka kita akan mendapatkan deret baru, ya, deret baru yang juga konvergen. So, from the previous theorem, we have this corollary, ya. Jadi something here. This should be Jadi ada dampak langsung ya dari kebenaran teorema yang sebelumnya. Ya. So in this case we have that every non-zero constant multiple of divergent series diverge, and if Sn converge and Tn diverge, then both the sum rule or difference rule always diverge. Jadi untuk aturan yang ketiga tadi ya, yang perkalian dengan konstanta, kalau kita punya deret yang divergen, kita kalikan dengan konstanta berapapun yang tidak 0, maka deret tersebut pasti divergen juga. Kemudian kalau salah satu dari 2 deret ini, S dan T-nya divergen, maka baik aturan penjumlahan maupun pengurangan itu akan menghasilkan deret baru yang divergen. Mas, ini tapi di sini ya catatannya yang kedua, salah satunya konvergen, yang lainnya divergen ya. Jadi satunya konvergen, yang lainnya divergen. We have to pay attention to this. Why? Because combining two different divergent series may result in convergent series. Ya. Kita harus hati-hati dengan menggabungkan. Kalau di sini ya, kita menjamin bahwa kalau satunya konvergen, yang lainnya divergen, maka hasil gabungannya itu pasti divergen. Jadi kalau kita punya dua deret, satunya konvergen, satunya divergen, gabungannya pasti divergen. Tapi kalau kita punya dua deret yang konvergen, kalau kita punya dua deret yang konvergen, kalau kita punya dua deret yang divergen, gabungannya bisa jadi konvergen. Itu yang harus kita hati-hati ya. Contohnya, kalau kita punya deret sum of one gitu ya, barisannya adalah 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, dan seterusnya. Kemudian deret selanjutnya adalah sum of minus one ya, minus 1, min 1, min 1, min 1, min 1, dan seterusnya. Kalau kita gabungkan dengan penjumlahan di sini ya, Sn tambah Tn adalah 0 ya. Sehingga kita tahu bahwa gabungan dari dua deret yang divergen ini ya, ini kan masing-masing kalau Sn, kalau N-nya menuju tak hingga, maka dia divergen menuju tak hingga. Tn kalau N-nya menuju tak hingga, dia divergen menuju negatif tak hingga. Tapi gabungan dari keduanya itu konvergen menuju 0. So we just need to make sure that we understand fully about this combination. Yeah. So now let's take a look at the example. First, we are asked to investigate the convergence of this series. If we know this series is basically Sn is equal to sum of I from 1 to N, of minus 1 power I times 5 over 4I, which in this case we have sum of I equals to 1 to N 5 times minus 1 over 4 power I. Yeah. This is geometric series. So this is equal to 5 times 1 minus 1 over 4 power N divided by 1 minus, this is minus, yeah, minus 1 over 4. Then as N goes to infinity, so as N goes to infinity, we have that Sn goes to 5 over 1 plus 1 over 4, which is equal to 5 over 5 over 4, which is equal to 4. Kalau kita lihat di sini ya, ini adalah deret geometri dengan suku pertamanya 5 ya, dengan A-nya 5 dan rasionya adalah min 1/4 ya. Kita tahu dari tadi ya, kalau mutlak dari rasionya kurang dari 1, ini kan mutlak rasionya kurang dari 1 ya, maka dia pasti konvergen. Sudah, ini adalah deret yang konvergen. Any question for this one?
I think no, sir.
No? Then for the next example, we have what we call telescopic series. for this example, we try to simplify the expression and then try to find the convergence. Yeah. So we have 1 over I times I plus 1 is actually, if we use partial fraction decomposition, we have this equal to something over I minus plus something over I plus 1. So this should be, I think, 1 minus 1. So in this case, we have that Sn is equal to sum of I equals to 1 to n of 1 over I plus 1. So that is equal to sum of I equals to 1 to n of 1 over I minus 1 over I plus 1. Now let's try to sum it. Yeah. So basically this is equal to 1 over 1 minus 1 over 2 plus 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3 plus 1 over 3 minus 1 over 4 plus and so on up to 1 over n minus 1 over n plus 1. So we see here that, okay, we have minus half plus half. We can eliminate it, and minus 1/3 plus 1/3 again, and so on. We can eliminate all of this. So in the end, what we get is this 1 minus 1 over n plus 1. That is equal to n over n plus 1. So here we have that as n goes to infinity, the values of Sn goes to 1. Any question? Di sini kita punya deret yang kita sebut sebagai deret teleskopis ya. Deret teleskopis itu ciri khasnya adalah seperti ini. Kita bisa tuliskan bentuknya seperti ini. Sesuatu dikurangi sesuatu ya. Bilangan per sesuatu dikurangi sesuatu per sesuatu. Ini deret teleskopis. Nah, di deret teleskopis ini biasanya ya, kita bisa melakukan eliminasi seperti ini ya. Jadi term yang tengah-tengah itu bisa kita coret. Karena apa? Karena kita selalu punya, kalau contoh ini ya, kita punya min setengah plus setengah, min sepertiga plus sepertiga. Min seperempat nanti ada plus seperempat dan seterusnya. Ya, sampai min seper n ada plus seper n. Kita bisa coret. Sisanya tinggal yang paling depan dan yang paling belakang. Karena kita punya ini. Ya. Ada pertanyaan untuk ini? Tidak?
Kayaknya tidak, Sir. Masih paham.
Sir.
Ya.
Ini cuma curious aja. Berarti ini penambahan I-nya 1 ya, Sir?
Maksudnya gimana?
Kan bisa dilihat tuh itu 1/1, terus dikurangi 1/2. Nah, di yang selanjutnya 1/2, 1/3 kayak ditambah 1 gitu ya kan?
Ya kan ini tandanya masih ingat nggak dari ketika kita awal-awal belajar integral kan kalian belajar notasi sum ya, notasi penjumlahan ini. Ini jumlah I dari 1 sampai N. Ini artinya apa? I-nya 1, 2, 3, 4 sampai N. Gitu.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
Now we investigate the convergence of this guy. So for this guy, sum of I from 1 to infinity of I plus 1 over I is actually 2 over 1 plus 3 over 2 plus 4 over 3 plus so on, and we continue, and plus I plus E plus 1 over I, and so on. So here we see that the terms grow, ya. Kita lihat di sini apa namanya, jumlahnya akan selalu naik, ya. So this is going to infinity. So this is diverge. Okay. For this one, we know that un in this case is n plus 1 over I over n, ya. Jadi kita tahu UN-nya adalah n plus 1 bagi n. So in this case, we know that this, as n goes to infinity, this guy goes to 1, that is not equal to 0, then of course it implies that Sn will diverge. Sn diverge. Yeah. Because of this. Ya. Jadi kalau misalkan barisan UN-nya itu konvergen ke suatu bilangan yang bukan 0, maka Sn-nya, deretnya itu pasti divergen. Ya. Any question?
I think no, sir. Masih paham ini.
Okay. Now find the sum for n goes to infinity. So Sn is equal to sum of I from 1 to n of 3 power I minus 1 minus 1 over 6 power I minus 1. So this is equal to sum of I from 1 to n, 3 over 6 power I minus 1 minus 1 over 6 power I minus 1. It is equal to sum of I equals to 1 to n, yeah, of half I minus 1 minus 1 over 6 power I minus 1. So if we can split the sum, so we have sum of I equals to 1 to n of half of I minus 1 minus sum of 1 over 6 power I minus 1. I from 1 to n. In this case, we have two geometric series. But we have, in this case, this is equal to, the first term is equal to 1 minus half power n over 1 minus half. And then the second term is 1 minus 1 over 6 power n over 1 minus 1 over 6
I think no, son.
ya.
Ini agak bingung di yang 1/6 itu. Itu 1/6 dari 1/6. Oh.
So as n goes to infinity, you have that this guy is going to 1 over 1 minus half, and then minus 1 over 1 minus 6, which is equal to 2 minus 6 over 5, which is equal to 4 over 5 ya. Jadi di sini prosesnya adalah kita punya deretnya ini, kemudian kita pecah ya, pecahannya. Jadi 3 pangkat I min 1 dibagi 6 pangkat I min 1, yaitu 3 per 6 pangkat I min 1, dikurangi dengan 1 per 6 pangkat I min 1 ya. 1 dipangkatkan I min 1 tetap 1 kan ya, makanya kita bisa masukkan jadi 1 ini di sini. Kemudian sumnya kita pecah, jadi di sini kelihatan bahwa kita punya 2 deret geometri ya. Yang pertama rasionya setengah, yang kedua rasionya 1/6. Kemudian kita tinggal pakai rumus deret geometri. Terus kita hitung ketika n-nya menuju tak hingga, kita dapat ini. Ya. Any question? Any question? No? Then let's try this and we finish our class. Yeah. So the first one, find the formula for this series. So we have 1 over n plus 1 times n plus 2 is equal to something over n plus 1 plus something over n plus 2. This is equal to 1. Okay, so this is 1 minus 1. Yeah. So basically we have 1 over n plus 1 minus 1 over n plus 2. So from this guy, let's say this is equal to alpha. Then we have alpha is 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3, then plus 1 over 3 minus 1 over 4 plus 1 over 4 minus 1 over 5 plus so on, plus well, let's say this is alpha n, and this is alpha infinity. So here up to plus 1 over n plus 1 minus 1 over n plus 2. And we see that we can eliminate this guy. These guys, we eliminate them all. So this is equal to half minus 1 over n plus 2. Yeah. So as n goes to infinity, this is equal to half. Untuk kasus ini kita punya deret teleskopis ya, karena ternyata setelah kita gunakan partial fraction decomposition, kita dapat bentuk ini ya. Jadi 1 per n plus 1 kali n plus 2 itu bisa diubah menjadi 1 per n plus 1 dikurangi dengan 1 per n plus 2. Kemudian kita hitung ya. Ternyata kalau cuma sampai n saja ya, ternyata bentuknya adalah setengah min sepertiga tambah sepertiga min seperempat tambah seperempat min seperlima dan seterusnya ya. Kemudian kita bisa coret yang di tengah-tengahnya sehingga kita dapatkan bentuknya adalah setengah min 1 per n plus 2. Nah, kalau n-nya menuju tak hingga, di sini kan 1 per n plus 2 akan semakin menuju 0 ya. Berarti kita punya nilai dari sum ini adalah setengah. Any question? Any question?
No, sir. Ini kayak yang di awal tadi kan, sir?
Yang pertengahan mungkin.
Ya. Okay. Now, write the first 8 terms and check convergence. The first term, we have S1 is equal to 1 minus 7 over 4 power 1, which is equals to 1 minus 7 over 4, which is equal to minus 3 over 4. Then S2 is basically S1 plus 1 minus 7 over 4 power 2. So minus 3 over 4 plus what is this? Plus minus 3 over 4 plus 1 minus 7 over 16, which is equal to minus 3 over 4 plus
9 over 16.
Okay, 9 over 16. Which is equal to
minus 3 over 16, sir.
Minus 3 over 16. And S3 is S2 plus 1 minus 7 over 4 cubed, which is minus 3 over 16 plus 1 minus 7 over 4 cubed. 64. So this is equal to minus 3 over 16 plus 64 minus 7 is
57 over 64.
57 over 64. So we multiplied by 4. So
45 over 64.
45 over 64. And so on. You can try to write them later at home, but let's check for convergence. How to check for convergence here? In this case, we have UN is equal to 1 minus 7 over 4i, 4 power n. And this is UN converts to, as n goes to infinity, UN converts to 1, right? Which is not equal to 0. So in this case, we can, since UN converts to 1, we can conclude that Sn diverges. Yeah. Jadi untuk menuliskan 8 deret pertamanya silahkan tulis sendiri, nanti coba sendiri di rumah ya. Tapi untuk memeriksa kekonvergenannya di kasus ini ya, kita lihat UN-nya ya. Ternyata UN-nya adalah 1 min kan ini kan 1 min 7/4 pangkat N. Ya, di sini kita tahu bahwa kalau N-nya menuju tak hingga, UN-nya akan menuju 1 ya. Karena dia tidak menuju 0, maka kita bisa menyimpulkan bahwa SN-nya pasti divergen. Any question for this one? Any question?
No, I think no, sir.
No? Okay. This one. Oh, this one should be easy. Yeah. This is equal to sum of I from 0 to N of 5 times minus 1/4 power I. So basically this guy is equal to S1 is S0, since I goes from 0, we have S0 is 5, and S1 is 5 times, 5 plus 5 times minus 1/4, which is equal to 5 minus 5/4, which is equal to 4 times 5 is 20, so 15/4. And so on. Yeah. For this one, if we want to check the convergence, we have that this guy is a geometric series. So this guy should be equal to 5 times 1 minus 1/4 power N divided by 1 minus, sorry, this is minus, yeah, minus 1/4. So as N goes to infinity, we have that Sn goes to 5/1 plus 1/4, that is 4. Yeah. Any question for this one? No?
Sure.
Yeah? No question? And the last one. Yeah. We simplify the telescopic series and check its convergence. Yeah. So here we have 3/1 squared minus 3/2 squared plus 3/2 squared minus 3/3 squared plus 3/3 squared minus 3/4 squared plus so on, plus 3/n squared minus 3/n plus 1 squared. So again, for this telescopic series, we can eliminate these guys. This is equal to 3 over 1 squared minus 3 over n minus 1, n plus 1 squared, which is equal to 3 minus 3 over n plus 1 squared. So in this case, as n goes to infinity, we have that the value goes to 3. Any question? No?
I think no, sir.
If not, then let's end today's session. So let's end today's session. Up to this point, and next week we will continue with, I think, some integral tests and some tests for convergence of series and some tests for convergence of sequence and series for next week. See you next week. Have a nice weekend. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, sir.
Salam. Thank you so much.